I think it's safe to say we know every event here in NHL 24, so today it's time to rank them. I'm gonna go through every single event that we've had here in the game and let you know which ones I liked, which ones I didn't, and which ones they should never do again. Now to help me along the way with this journey, we've got Burt Crown 88. Burt, my friend, how are you doing?
I am fantastic, brother. How about yourself?
I'm good. This is gonna be fun. We both know what's gonna be happening here today. We're ranking the NHL 24 events, and I have a feeling this is gonna be not very controversial. I feel like we're gonna have the same kind of thoughts.
I would bet that would be probably correct on most of them.
All right, so let's get started here. And of course, guys, down below, if you disagree or agree with what we say, make sure you leave a comment. The very first event we're going to be talking about here today was the first event of NHL 25. It's the Headliners event. Bert, what did you think of the Headliners event?
I thought it was very good. I thought some of the names, like Kuznetsov, was dominant. They were very cheap and easy to get at the time because you only needed like 8 gold players to get 1 collectible to get the MSP. But I would probably say good. It wasn't outstanding, but it wasn't terrible. I'd say it was good.
It's funny because like I have my stuff written out, right? Of what I want to say about each one. I wrote that this was a terrible event and a terrible way to start the year.
Okay.
My reasoning here is that we didn't get a free full MSP to start the year like we do usually every other year.
That is fair enough. Yeah.
I don't want to say it's forgettable because I remember the first event. There are some events in here where I didn't remember crap from.
Well, say you're giving me this one. Maybe I'll have to sway down a little bit on another one.
All right, so we'll go ahead and put Headliners in. Good for now, but here's the thing. I don't know if it's going to stay there because we're going to go through some other events, and if you think this one is good compared to another one, that might be a little controversial. All right, Bert, the next one coming up, we're going to be talking about the Prototype event. What do you remember about the Prototype event? Not much, right?
No, the Prototype, actually, you know what? The 99 Mitch Marner that we got late in the year, so I would say at the launch of this event, yeah, forgettable.
I'm putting it in forgettable. I honestly, I couldn't name an MSP right now. Obviously Marner, because the 99 Marner came out, but all right. So first 2 events of the year, pretty typical. This one is going to be an interesting discussion. We're going with the Fantasy Hockey event.
Fantasy Hockey event. Okay, there was a lot of MSPs I didn't like, and also the endurance one was terrible. They absolutely botched this entire event.
I fully agree that they botched the event. No, hear me out. You got a free one, right? If you did the objectives, you got a free one, which was cool. But the problem here is, one, you didn't get to make any of the cards you wanted. Like, I wanted Lucas Raymond. There was no way of me getting Lucas Raymond. And also, on top of that, the biggest issue I have with this is that, say that Lucas Raymond came out, and he was 97 overall, he just wasn't allowed to get a card throughout the rest of the year.
No, yeah, like they totally botched the event, and then the MSPs they came out with were worse than the other cards like Lucas Raymond that you're talking about. Like, the MSPs were brutal compared to the cards that you couldn't build.
So with that being said, let's go ahead and put Fantasy Hockey in. You want to say bad?
I never did them because they were not worth it to me, so they were never due again. But we love the fantasy event, so yeah, I would say bad.
The thing is, I do like the fantasy event. It just needs to be tweaked. Moving on then, let's go to the Gallery of Greats event. If I'm being honest, I'm going to take the lead on this one, and I'm just going to go perfect. I loved this event. The only thing I didn't like is that there was, like, repeat players, right? Like, people who already had, say, power-up icons and stuff like that were getting cards, but Gallery of Greats, I love this event.
I enjoyed this event. There was a lot of names that, like Ovechkin. This was when Ovechkin got truly good speed, and you actually could use him. So I loved this event, and I think perfect. It'd be really hard for me to ever say like an EA event was perfect this year, but I could go with that.
So the addition of Bobby Orr kind of helps out with that, right? They put Bobby Orr into the game there, and then they did this is the first time we got the moments and the objectives where if you did all the objectives, you got a free card. And that's when I was able to get that Wayne Gretzky, you get the Mario Lemieux just by, doing a couple moments. So I think for me personally, this is how I like more events to be done, right? You collect the MSPs, you get the Bobby Orr. They started doing that a little bit more throughout the year as well. I like that setup where it gives you a reason to collect the cards that they release. So for me, this is a really well done, and I can't say perfect, but I think it's better than great. So I'm putting it in perfect.
I think it would be one of the better events they dropped this year. And because of, like you said, with the builds, the MSPs into a master MSP, I think is a dynamite way to go. And it saves power-ups. As long as the MSP is max powered out, I think is where you win on that one.
I fully agree. The next one coming up is the next gen event. Burt, I'll let you take the lead on this.
The prediction, I guess, of who was going to win the Calder, which is fun. But the next gen event I didn't really enjoy. But it wasn't terrible because of the prediction. I'd say it's good. Good. Not forgettable, but good.
I'll agree and put it in good. I think that having the cards auto upgrade by the end of the year would have been a much better solution, right? You have that Connor Bedard that went up to a 99, but then you had to pay like 50 collectibles to get them up to 99. Maybe next year, if you do the same thing, you lock it so you only get one card, like your prediction, you get one card, you can't get the other ones. And if you're right, then you would get the 99 by, I mean, when did it come out? In June? Like, who cares?
It was one that was a cool idea, but with Connor being in the XP, I didn't really worry about it too much.
On to what could be one of the best events of all time. That might be sarcasm. We're talking about the Celebrities event.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in on this one. I think if they had have added movie players, it could have been unreal. Like if we could have had a Dean Youngblood, it could have been unbelievable. Or even maybe Charlie Conaway. Nasher and them aren't terrible. Like they're great choices. But I think they could have had a lot of fun with this event.
My issue with the event isn't even necessarily the players, right? Like, yeah, it would have been awesome to have like a Doug Glatt or something. I think that would have been cool. However, they made them very expensive to make, right? You got one for free, but if you wanted the other two, it was super, super expensive for some reason. Didn't make a lot of sense to me. I like the idea of it, you know, the custom moments and the objectives and that, but I don't think it was the best event. And realistically, if I would have said, hey, what was your favorite event of the year? And you went through 10 different events, you wouldn't have said Celebrity, right? It was personally forgettable for me.
Yeah, that works for me. I'm not going to say never do it again. Like, that wouldn't be terrible. If they did it again, I just, like you said, like Doug Glatt would be awesome. Reggie Dunlop would be another phenomenal one. Like, stuff like that I thought would have been cool.
All right, next up, we're going to be talking about the Captains event. Do you remember this one?
Oh, I remember this one.
Here's the thing. I actually kind of like the Captains event because they changed the way you make MSPs, and they made it extremely easy to obtain the MSPs. And that might be the only reason why I liked it so much. You legitimately got 4 or 5 MSPs if you played the game. Like, legitimately, we're able to make almost every MSP. The problem is I had a ton of power-up collectibles sitting around and nothing to do with them.
That was just it. Like, I remember this one because, like, there was good cards. They were great and easy to get. All you had to do was play. But yeah, like, people at this point were stockpiling with all their rewards, power collectibles, and then they feel like they just got shafted when they couldn't use them.
Yeah, not the biggest fan of the way that happened. I don't mind them changing up the way you make MSPs, but I don't know. It didn't quite work. I'm not going to put this one in forgettable because I definitely remember the Captains event. I'm actually going to throw this one in bad.
Yeah, I'll say bad. Bad's okay, but definitely not forgettable. You're right there.
Now, this one for me is extremely forgettable, but we'll see what you have to say. We're talking about the Nations of Hockey event.
That one's definitely not forgettable for me. They had a lot of good names in there, including William Nylander, who's my favorite Leaf.
1 second. So you're saying, oh, you remember it because of William Nylander. If William Nylander wasn't in the event, hey, what cards did you get for doing the objectives for?
Okay, we're gonna go biased. We'll go biased. Yeah, we'll say biased on that one. If Nylander wasn't there, the event wouldn't have been for me at all, I guess we could say. But yeah, Nylander was there, so good.
All right, I'll put it in good for you. But yeah, I can't remember anything from the event besides the MSPs. Like, legitimately, I only remember the Nylander and whatnot because we're talking about the Nations of Hockey cards and everything coming out for the current, like, event that's out right now and all the 99s. On to a real big event here, Burt. We're talking about Team of the Year.
So, the Team of the Year for me, other than Quinn Hughes, I feel like got burnt on that one. Everyone prepares for it now, so everyone hypes it up, and then when it gets here, it's kind of a letdown because you know a lot of the players that are coming, or you think you do at least. It's really expensive one that everyone seems to always prepare for.
Yeah, I don't really care for the Team of the Year event this year. Can I be honest with you? I didn't like it. I'm putting this in never do it again. It's too expensive. The cards are irrelevant because Team of the Season comes out a couple months later and they all have the same, and it doesn't matter. Hey, I have Connor McDavid Team of the Year and his Team of the Season and his XP and this and that, and I'm done with it. Give me Team of the Season, don't give me Team of the Year anymore.
That never do it again. It's a big event in Hut. To never do it again would be tough. They'd have to replace it with something else.
All right, let me explain. When say NHL 16, 17, 18, there was no team of the year in January. That didn't happen. Team of the year was in like March or April. That's how it should be, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're saying at the end of the year, make team. Yeah, because like team of the year and team of the season are the same thing. Maybe if you get team of the year early on, it's a bonus, but you can't get a team of the season card later. I guess would be a way to improve it. But they are kind of the same thing. You just get it earlier, which at that point helps out for WC, which we don't have anymore.
Say what you will, Burt. I'm going ahead and I'm putting it in never do this again. This is my tier list, and I'm doing it my way.
Take it away. Never do it again. Like, I can't wait to read the comments on that one.
All right, now, a common theme here is that, hey, I liked this idea, but it wasn't very well executed. And that continues here with the Hutverse event.
Okay, Hutverse is forgettable for me.
I fully agree that it's forgettable. I think the one issue is that they released a Shea Weber card, and everyone was like, yes, finally a Shea Weber card. But you couldn't play him on defense. You could only play him as like a forward. Like, that was the best version of Shea Weber for months. Why don't you just have a card that can swap from forward to defense? You put him anywhere in the lineup. It's almost like they used to do that.
That actually would make it a lot better if that Hutverse had the flexibility to go anywhere, but goalie, of course.
From one event with a cool idea with poor execution to another, we're talking about the All-Star event.
Oh, the All-Star event. The dreaded power-up icon redo event. This was littered with power-up icons in there.
It's not only that either, because like I didn't like that, but I also didn't like the scoring, that the cards that came out for the All-Star game were so low overall that none of them ended up being usable in the end. It was just like that Larkin came out and that was awesome. That was the best card that came out in the event. Not a fan of this event whatsoever.
Yeah, I feel like the All-Star last year, they did the event cards better, but with the combination of the MSPs and like you said about these event cards, forgettable for me, but we could drop it down to bad or, never again, or maybe change it different.
I don't think we'll put it in never do this again, because I do like the All-Star event some years, so let's put it in bad. From a bad event to what I consider to be a pretty good event, we're talking about the Style Icons event.
Yeah, the Style Icons event I liked. I definitely liked that one. The card art was awesome, and the cards you could build were great. And at this point, Hut Rush was giving out a lot of cards to help out build free MSPs and stuff, so that was good. And you're gonna hit me with the bias again on the Brian McCabe.
I'm not gonna hit you on the bias because there was a Marian Hossa in there as well. But that being said, you could make an MSP by playing Rush or Moments and Objectives. And if you did all of the objectives, you got another MSP. So multiple MSPs for free in this event. This one's going to be a good one for me. Do you want good or great, Burt?
I'll go great, just because I liked this event more than others. So I'd go great.
Style Icons and great it is. And now, this one for me is a big one, and I thought maybe the best event they've done all year, the Hut Elites event.
Now, this is the love-hate of setting up the next one, probably. I loved the way they did Dougie Hamilton in this one and the Austin Matthews, where you could get cards to power them up one more level overall to get a little bit more out of those MSPs. Led into a horrible negative that we're probably going to get into. Great event. I loved Hut Elite. This event was in a blah time of the year, and this event stands out of all of them.
For me, I thought that not only the card art was awesome and whatnot, but you got multiple MSPs for free by playing. And that's something, that they need to do more often, right? They give you enough stuff to build these cards. I think that this event, with the extra upgrade, like you said, loved it. Do you want to put it in great or you want to put it in perfect? It's totally your choice on this one.
Let's go perfect. And I think it has a lot to do with how you could get a little more out of the MSPs with their cards. Gave you some objectives to do with the MSP that you built. So I'd go perfect. I like this one.
All right, Burt, let's go from legitimately one of the best events of the year to what may be the worst event in EA NHL Hut history, the trade deadline event. I have never been so disgusted with an event in my life from when I seen this. That Patrick Kane came out and I was so excited to make him, and then I learned you had to gamble your collectibles in order to make him. I didn't do it. I don't know anyone who made any of these MSPs. Never do this again. Burt, thoughts?
So at first, when this event dropped, you had to be there in the first hour. You could get all those MSPs but then everyone was realizing that that wasn't the way it was set up, and it went horribly wrong where you had to lose everything to get half of a card, because I couldn't even get Larry Murphy done, and that was with the little bug at the start.
There were 3 MSPs for me. 3 in this event. Murphy, Kane, and Richards, and guess what? I couldn't make any of them because of the stupid setup that EA thought was a good idea. I'm putting it in never do it again, and if you disagree, I don't know what to say.
Never do it again is where it has to be. If we never hear about trade deadline again and they name it something else, that'd probably be the way to go, because this is going to be a horrendous flashback for many years.
Moving on, we have another event. I don't have anything good or bad to say about it because I don't remember it. It's the 94 anniversary event.
I remember this one. It was the 95 Jeremy Roenick, which was good at the time, but it was all power-up icons and Brian Leetch, which was, everyone's favorite. They were waiting for Brian Leetch to come to this game. I'm joking. He's been in this game all over the place.
The Jeremy Roenick was great. We didn't need power-up icons getting MSPs all year, and this event was pretty much all power-up icons. Let's go ahead and put this one in the bad category for sure.
Absolutely. And people were vocal about the MSPs in the All-Star event being repeated, and then just they doubled down and went 4 or 5 from this one, and that was rough.
Before we get into the event that I'm going to really crap on, let's talk about Team of the Season.
Team of the Season last year, I chased William Nylander for probably about 2 weeks, and I couldn't get that card. And at least this year they gave you the option for all of them, which made it good.
Yeah, this year is only 36, I believe, according to the banner here anyways. So not a ton of Team of the Season players. I almost feel like there's some players missing out that they just didn't want to give an upgrade to. So that's kind of disappointing. But in the end, I think it was a good event. But what do you think?
I think it was a good event. Because you could get whoever you wanted from it at the time.
Team of the Season going in good. Now, Burt, what were we saying earlier about repeated MSPs and whatnot? Well, let's talk about the Stanley Cup event.
Yes. My opinion might sway on this one a little bit. I think it was good. And the reason I think it was good is because I made a team out of the MSPs. I scratched everything and I started from scratch and I made an entire team out of the MSPs, and it wasn't hard to do if you just played the game.
I think the biggest issue for me in this event was that 2 events ago, the event right before Team of the Season, we got a Brian Leetch MSP. You know what we got the first week of this event? A Brian Leetch MSP. There was also another Yager MSP in this event. And on top of that, the biggest issue for me were the Stanley Cup cards themselves, which only upgraded 1 per round instead of 1 per win, meaning that the cards that came out at 90 overall, even if, hypothetical, you got someone that you liked and they made it to the Stanley Cup Finals in that first round, they only went up to a 94. The MSPs were 96 in this event. So by the time that any of these cards, we're 8 weeks in and you're finally getting Gustav Nyquist at a 90 up to a 94 if they won the cup, that card's not usable. So the entire first 2-3 rounds of cards, kind of pointless. I'm putting it in bad, but you can sway it if you want.
I'll listen. I'll take you on this one. I think good, because I could make a team out of them fairly easily. Now maybe that's because a 4-week event took 8 weeks, but we can go bad because of the icons. They just reuse so many names out of it.
I'm gonna put in a new tier, and we're gonna call it meh, just in the middle of good and bad. All right. The next one is the one that coincided with the Stanley Cup event. It's the Hut Heroes event. Burt, what are your thoughts on this one? I'll get it out of the way now and say personally, I thought it was all right because of how much free stuff you got.
Yeah, again, Hut Rush was big for this, because I believe there was cards you could get, not Michael Rasmussen, but there was tall players you could get that were fast out of Hut Rush. And then I like the limited time being able to build the MSPs into a more unique card. But yeah, you could get an absolute ton just by objectives.
Yeah, for me personally, this event's going in good. I don't know if you agree with that, Burt, but
I think good's good. Good's a good spot to put it because it's not outstanding, but it's not bad at all.
Good's good. Good's good. For the next one, I apologize to the people watching. I don't have a great screenshot for this one, but we're talking about the awards event. For me, this one was interesting. I thought some of the cards, well, again, power-up icons, right? The Sedines and whatnot. It's going to happen. The fact that you could earn multiple free MSPs from this event was great. However, they changed the way that you upgraded the MSPs, right? You went from 87s to 89s to 95s to 97s, and I felt like that was a lot. However, again, you got multiple MSPs for free. It's kind of a toss-up for me. I'm thinking we go right down the middle with meh, but Burt, what are you thinking?
I liked it a lot. I didn't like Pacioretty, but you could use the Pacioretty just by playing the game to help you get a free 97, I think they were. So you could use the Pacioretty to help you get a free 97, and you could earn everything else so easily. It was a lot of time invested into just building sets, though, to get those free cards.
All right, let's go ahead and we'll just put this one in meh. I thought, like, again, being able to build the cards and getting them for free was awesome. The moments, you know, you went ahead and did the Pacioretty moments and whatnot. Like, I liked it, but again, I would agree. There's just too many sets and too much time wasted. Moving on, we're talking about the draft event here in NHL 24. Burt, you can go ahead and take this one away.
Forgettable for me. And it's going to come down to the two selections on their MSPs, and none of the cards were really crazy takeaways. Again, I can't even remember. I'll let you take this one. I can't remember if there's a ton of free cards, just because the event was blah, in my opinion. So I'll have to say forgettable, because Connor and McKinnon weren't really chase cards at that point after Team of the Season.
No, I fully agree. I don't remember too much about the event either. It's winding down in the year, and I felt like this one kind of felt like the nail in the coffin, because like I remember I pulled Rasmus Dahlin, and then the McKinnon and McDavid came out. I don't remember the other cards. I think Slav got one, but yeah, this one's pretty forgettable for me. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and put that one in forgettable. It's on to the second last event of the year, the free agency event. Yeah, Burt, do you remember this one that well? Because I don't.
I actually do remember this one that well, because it was a massive time crunch to get yourself either a Kadri or Pietrangelo collectible. Yeah, if you didn't have time, you weren't getting the 99 Kadri or Pietrangelo, and that's all it came down to. And that's why this event is memorable for me, is because a lot of people hated having to do that in 6 days.
Yeah, I remember there being a lot of turmoil over that. I didn't do it personally. I never bothered. I'm gonna look through the thing here and look and see what players there even were. The Pietrangelo, yeah, we got the Scott Gomez and the Ryan Suter for free.
Yep, those were good cards to get for free. They helped you build MSPs up.
Parisi, Whitney, yeah, I don't remember this. It's either going in bad or forgettable for me. Go ahead, you can pick this one.
Let's throw it in bad. Like, okay. If they didn't have that time crunch on the MSPs, I think people would have liked it more.
Yeah, fair enough, Burt. We're on to the final one. It's the current event, the preseason event. What are your thoughts?
A lot of cards. An absolute lot. You know what? The best part of preseason is the 99s that have nothing to do with preseason, in my opinion. Or Sam Reinhart, and Vince Dunn. You have to wait. You're still waiting to make those cards a 99. That was absolutely brutal.
Okay, so you know those 99s that are coming out every week, that like the previous MSPs that are boosted to 99. If you only played Hut Rush for 8 weeks, which from the start of this event to the end, you would get 2 99s. If you only did moments and objectives, you could get another 2 99s. We have never had an event give away this much free stuff, and people don't seem to know about it.
The free stuff gets overshadowed because yes, you get a lot of 85s, you got a lot of 88s, and you can turn all that in to progress your way through the sets. It takes a lot of time to do that. But I think some of the bads overshadow some of the goods.
Fully agree with you. I fully agree with you. And again, the thing is, if you do Rush every single week, yeah, you did it for 4 weeks. If you traded in everything you got from those 4 weeks, you would have gotten, say, I think it was the Captain's event was week 4. So you would have gotten like Joe Sakic or something for free for playing Rush for 4 weeks. However, when you look at it from just base value, you go, I have 490 overall players and none of them are going to make my team. Why would I want these?
Exactly. Your first initial reaction when you've seen a lot of the stuff they were giving away was like, great, 5 more power-up collectibles. That was your first initial reaction, but if you, like you're saying, had have turned them all in through the sets, which would have taken forever, but you could have got yourself a 99 of your choice.
I think for this one, I'm thinking meh, but what do you think, Burt?
I think meh is okay because like a lot of it is bad, but there is some good, like you were pointing out there. So I'd say meh. Meh works for me.
And that is every event ranked here in NHL 24. Now, we didn't go over like the training camp at the beginning of the year because that wasn't really an event. We're not going through like community requests and stuff like that. We're only talking about the actual events with MSPs. And I think we did a pretty good job taking a look at the tier list.
I think it looks good. And like one thing that you could call an event or not an event that wouldn't reach this list is Team of the Week. Like, what is your personal opinion on Team of the Week? Because like every year it goes on, it gets more and more meh, in my opinion.
They started doing something this year with the Team of the Week that they should have been doing from the beginning and should always be doing, and that's allowing you to make Team of the Week players. Then they stopped doing it, and then they brought it back. Then they stopped doing it again. It was expensive, but at least you could get the cards. There was a Lucas Raymond that did eventually come out, and all I had to do was trade in some stuff, and I could get him. There was no way for me to buy him because the auction house at that point is so low. So, yeah, being able to build a card, even if it's expensive, at least I can get the cards I want. That should be something they do from week 1.
Yes, I agree. Like, there's so many, like, the stars of the month you can build. There is a roundabout way of doing it. The community cards and the Team of the Week cards, you can only get them from the store, which I do not like.
Anyways, y'all, that is going to do it for this video here in NHL 24, ranking every event. Let us know down below what you think. Do you agree or disagree with any of the takes here? And don't forget to check out Burt down below. Link in the description. Burt, thanks for being on the channel, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me, brother.
You guys have a great night, and we'll see you very soon right here on the channel.